Your life as every Navy SEAL rank. Level 1. The water. The cold hits you like a wall. It's 2 a.m. and you're chest deep in the Pacific Ocean, and an instructor is screaming something you can't hear over the waves. Your teeth are rattling. Your hands stopped working 10 minutes ago. Somewhere to your left, a man rings a brass bell and walks away. Just like that, he's gone. You don't ring the bell. You don't know why exactly. Pride, maybe, or fear of what going home looks like. But you stay in the water. And that decision, that one quiet, teeth-clenched decision, is the first real thing about you. BUDS is not a training program. It's a filter. They're not teaching you tactics yet. They're finding out what's underneath the person you think you are. Hell Week takes everything. Sleep, warmth, comfort, the version of yourself that needed those things, and burns it off. You lose 17 pounds in 6 days. You hallucinate briefly on day 4. You keep moving.
Level 2. The teams. You get your Trident. It's heavier than you expected. Not physically, psychologically. Because the moment it hits your chest, the expectation shifts. Nobody coddles a SEAL. Nobody explains the unwritten rules. You're supposed to already know them, or figure them out fast. The teams have a culture that doesn't announce itself. It operates through silences, through who gets invited to debrief, through whose gear gets checked twice and whose doesn't. Senior operators watch you without watching you. They're calibrating, deciding how much you're worth. Your first deployment is to a country you can't name in public. The mission brief is 2 sentences long. You execute, you return, you don't discuss it at the bar. You start to understand that the job isn't violence. Violence is just the tool. The job is precision, control, the complete elimination of variables. You make mistakes, small ones. A communication gap on an exfil, a half-second of hesitation during a room clear. Nobody yells at you. The senior chief just looks at you a moment longer than necessary, and that look does more damage than any yelling could. You spend 6 months not sleeping enough and not talking about why. You tell yourself this is normal, and slowly, it becomes normal.
Level 3. Earning quiet respect. You've got 3 deployments behind you. Your name gets used in sentences now. Not loudly. Nobody in the teams is loud about anything real. But when a new guy needs a reference, your name comes up. When a troop needs someone for a direct action package on short notice, they call you without deliberating. You're a petty officer first class. You're not leading yet, but you're close enough to see how it works. You start noticing things. Who in the troop gets the sensitive assignments? Who the officers actually listen to versus who they formally report. The official hierarchy is real, but there's another hierarchy underneath it. One built from deployments, from confirmed results, from the specific kind of trust you can only earn in places where mistakes have permanent consequences. You've been in rooms with men who made the wrong call. You've carried weight because of it. You don't talk about what you've seen, but it lives somewhere in your chest, quiet and permanent, like a stone you've learned to breathe around.
Level 4. Leading men. You're a chief now, not management. You're the spine of the platoon. Officers lead on paper. You lead in fact. New guys watch how you move. They study your reactions during pre-mission briefs. If you're calm, they're calm. If you tighten, the whole room tightens. You've accepted something most people never do, that your decisions have a body count attached to them, one way or another. You send men into situations correctly, they come home. You miscalculate, someone doesn't. That weight doesn't break you. It organizes you. You become quieter, sharper, more deliberate. You stop second-guessing in the field, because second-guessing in the field is how people die. Off mission, you drink whiskey and watch younger guys laugh at things you can't find funny anymore. You don't resent them for it. You just recognize the distance. You're becoming something specific, something the institution needs.
Level 5. The Operator's Shadow. Senior Chief. 15 years in. You've been to 8 countries on record, and 4 that don't appear in your service jacket. You've worked with CIA case officers, with foreign intelligence assets, with men whose last names you never knew. The missions are less frequent now, but more consequential. You're not kicking in doors every night. You're advising, planning, sitting in rooms where decisions get made that affect operations you'll never personally run. You've watched 2 men from your original class leave in body bags, one to enemy action, one to something quieter, a parking garage in San Diego, by his own hand. You don't process it the way civilians would. You log it, file it, move forward, because the alternative is a door you've learned to keep shut. Your marriage is technically intact. Your wife knows a version of you. The real version lives somewhere in a time zone she can't access.
Level 6. Command. Master Chief. 20 years. You run a troop, then a task unit. Your word is operational law within your lane, and your lane is wide. Junior officers brief you, not the other way around. Admirals ask for your read on ground truth, because they know the reports that land on their desks have been filtered through layers of people who weren't there. You were there. You know exactly what happened in Helmand Province in 2019. You know what the official version says. The difference between those 2 things is something you carry alone. Power at this level isn't loud. It's structural. It's access. It's the phone call that reroutes an asset. The assessment that delays or accelerates a mission. You don't need authority. You are authority, walking around in a uniform.
Level 7. The Architect. Command Master Chief. A title that exists above the noise. You don't deploy anymore. You build the machine that deploys others. Training pipelines. Doctrine. The invisible architecture of how the most dangerous men in the world are made. You've shaped thousands of careers without those men knowing your name. You sit in rooms with 3-star generals and say very few words. The words you say land differently than anyone else's, because everyone in the room knows you've been where the theory ends and the reality begins. You've forgotten what it feels like to be cold in the water at 2 a.m. Or maybe you haven't forgotten. Maybe you've just reclassified it. Filed under necessary. Filed under where it started.
Level 8. The Ghost. You separate from the service at year 26. There's no ceremony that captures it correctly. Some handshakes, a shadow box, a room full of men who understand exactly what you are, which means they understand that words are insufficient. You know things about this country's history that will never be declassified in your lifetime. You've carried them so long they don't feel like secrets anymore. They feel like bones. Consulting firms call, private sector intelligence, contracting. You take meetings and say little. You evaluate men in under 4 minutes, without their awareness. Old habits. You live in a house near the water. You sleep fine. That's the part that surprises civilians when you tell them. You sleep fine. The mission is over. The mission is never over.
Somewhere, right now, a 22-year-old is standing on a beach in Coronado. The water is cold. The instructors are watching. He thinks this is the hardest thing he'll ever do. He has no idea. But he will.